He was my mother's father. And all of her brothers and all of them was by his color, but her mother was kind of like an Indian.
She looked like
I didn't never see her. She had done passed on when I got big enough.
Oh.
I think she passed when Mama was 17 years old.
Oh.
And Mama helped to raise her brothers, and her sister died. She had a sister older than her, and she passed away. So she married. I don't think you remember Uncle Cousin Jack. Cousin Jack used to come up here and stay with me sometime too.
Is that where you get the thing? You know, I know that when you lived on LaSalle, once you had left Mound Bayou, we're coming out of Mound Bayou a little bit now, but I noticed when I was growing up, and I was born in 1966, you would have a lot of people staying with you when they came from down south.
Yeah.
And I know you had some people that became famous. The Staples singers stayed. Did they ever spend the night or?
Roebuck and them used to come here and give programs.
Or concerts.
Right. When the kids got big enough, Roebuck used to sing in a group.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come to St. Louis, I mean, when we moved on LaSalle, what you're talking about then, that's when Roebuck come by my house one day on his way to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he come from down there where my husband and them come from. All of them was down to south.
Right, the Staples started out in Drew and moved over to Mound Bayou later.
Now, all the Staples then, wait a minute, let me get you straight. The first Staple come over there was old man John Staple. He's the one who had the money.
Okay.
He was the money man. And we lived on Camel College ground. Camel College had so many acres of ground. And they leased that ground.
Mm-hmm.
So he leased it to John Staples.
And John Staples is James Staples' brother.
Yeah.
Okay. But when they
It was
finally...
it was 7 of them brothers, I think it was. But all of them moved over there but 2. And a whole lot of the families. That's where your granddaddy come from.
And my grandfather's father was Jim Staples. And
Jim
his father...
All of them built new houses.
And
everybody built their own new house.
Did William Watson Staples come too?
William Watson was over there before then, cause his uncle raised him. He's the first Staple I had ever saw. So he and my father were big friends.
Well, wait a second. Let me stop you. Now, William Watson Staples I talked to Laverne Staples in Milwaukee. When emancipation came, William Watson Staples was 35. So by the time you met him, he's about 70, like 80 years old, right?
Who?
W.W. Staples. Did you?
No, P.D. and Watson along together.
No, Granddaddy's grandfather. How old was he when you met him? Jim Staples' father.
How old was who?
How old was when you met your father-in-law? His dad was living with him, right? So how old was Jim Staples' dad when you met him?
Jim Staples?
Your father-in-law, James Staples?
Right.
Okay.
I didn't know his father.
Oh, you didn't know William Watson Staples. Okay.
That was an old man. He's back in the slavery time. He used to he used to be a slave for the white folks.
Yeah. So
we didn't know nothing about it. I think Lester said he died when Lester was 20. I think Lester was the oldest one of the grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And he died. Now, he remembered him. I think he said he was 23 years old when he died. And he used to tell him all the different stories about what had went on, because he was a slave.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you before, he was the one that would wash the cotton while they go in, and when they come back...
the whiskey.
Wash the whiskey while they go in and sell the whiskey. And when they come back, he'd be drunk as hell.
So
but I didn't know him. They used to talk about him. Now that's Jim Staples in the airport.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Now, William Watson Staples was the emancipator.
William Watson Staples was along with me. That's all.
No.
His mother and father, I didn't know them.
You're talking about the son that was the same age as you. Okay, how about I do it like this? W.W. Staples was the old man, right?
No. That's what I'm telling you now. I don't know about the old man now.
But
I don't know them because, see, his uncle raised Watson and Arnold.
Right.
There's two of them boys.
But I want to know at what point were the Staples in Mound Bayou before the Irvings? Which family was that?
We was born there.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get out. So you were always
born, but they come from Drew, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. All them Staples come out of Drew, over there around Drew, Mississippi.
Because you know Mound Bayou was founded in 1887.
Right, I got all that.
And so that was 29 years before you were born. So I'm trying to establish a timeline of your family's involvement in the founding of this town.
I found myself out in Mound Bayou, Mississippi.
When you found
I left there in Mound Bayou, Mississippi. I don't know where he come from or whatever, nothing, I don't know. But I know my daddy, his home was in Columbia, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Then he left Columbia and went to Mound Bayou?
And his uncle lived at Mound Bayou, Mississippi.
What was his name?
When his parents, when my daddy's parents got, he didn't have nobody but his mother. Mm-hmm. His mother was his uncle's brother.
Sister.
His mother, my daddy's mother,
mm-hmm.
was Uncle Robert's brother.
Sister.
A sister.
Okay.
Yeah. So he raised them.
In Mound Bayou.
After
okay.
He come from,
I want to throw some names out to you. And I want to ask you, did your father belong to any of these groups? It's just three. The Prince Hall Masons.
Yeah, he was a Mason. I don't know what kind of Mason he was, but he's a 33rd degree Mason.
How about the Odd Fellows? You ever heard of them?
What?
The Odd Fellows. You ever heard of that group?
I didn't know about that.
How about the Knights of Pythias?
And the Knights of Pythias, I didn't know too much about that, but I knew it. But I didn't know the operation that they operated.
But your dad was a Mason. Your father was a Mason.
My father and my brother is too. Uncle Charlie.
Charlie. I mean,
he's the only one. He's the only one taken after my daddy. All the rest of my brothers didn't, but he's a Mason too.
But your dad became a Mason, a Prince Hall Mason in Mound Bayou.
Right. I remember when he was. I remember when they worked on him.
What did they do to him?
I don't know. Maybe this man over here might know what to do.
You see, my grandma's playing a Zelly, Bill Fischetti.
Well, you see what Mama had to do. You got to feed what you call him. What do they call him? But he the one do the date.
What do you mean?
At the Mason.
Yeah, but
you have to feed the goat. You call them the goat.
Oh, yeah. Because you know they call them goat riders.
Right. And so he was, when Papa was going to go there, be the Mason, you had to meet a lot of meetings before then, Mm-hmm. Mama had to cook a big dinner and cook cake and all that stuff, and you got to feed
the goat rider.
Right.
Okay.
The goat.
So your father could read and write?
My daddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my dad and my mother too. My mother was a school teacher.
Now how did she get to teach? If you couldn't teach if you were married, how did your mother get to teach?
My mother taught when we were smaller, but she had a lot of children. She couldn't just be a regular teacher.
Oh.
Regular, because she married early. She married my father. Her mother and father and all them. Her mother was dead, but she had 3 brothers.
So sometimes sometimes the rules were relaxed, and if you just had to make some money, or if they really needed a teacher, if there was no other teacher.
They always kept a standby.
And so the married woman.
If somebody got sick and wasn't able to be there to teach, then they would send somebody.
But as a rule, married women or women with children really didn't teach. But if they needed a standby, a married woman was okay. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Standby Well, they had teachers did teach.
Mm-hmm.
They had teachers that had husbands. But they didn't have enough to take care of the schools.
But your father-in-law and your husband did not allow you to teach once you finished.
Peter did care, but he didn't like for me to go and see all the week and then come back home, you know.
Oh, he wanted you to stay at home.
Well, I had to go to different schools, you know.
There was 2 places I'm curious about in Mound Bayou I want to ask you about. Do you remember a drugstore owned by a man named Dr. Harris, Dr. S.H. Harris?
Uh-uh.
How about a place called the Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church? You remember that?
What?
The Bethel.
Oh, yeah, I know where Bethel is. Bethel right there in Mound Bayou. That's a Methodist church.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever attend there? Did you ever go there?
I didn't know, but that's what my father was a Methodist, and my mother was too. But we attended the church out in the country.
There was 2 Methodist churches. You all went to the other one.
No, we went to one way out in the country there.
What was the name of it?
Whitechapel.
Whitechapel. Whitechapel Methodist Church.
Whitechapel. That's Whitechapel AME Church, and had a sister church was named Dennis Chapel.
What was it called?
Dennis. D-E-N-N-I-S.
Dennis Chapel.
I was a delegate until I got married.
In the AME church?
In the Sunday school.
Oh.
I was a delegate. I have to go and carry the message to the convention, and I bring the same message back until I married your daddy.
My granddaddy.
Granddaddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to ask you about
I've been working in church ever since, huh?
I want to ask you about some other place. Well, do you remember the Bank of Mound Bayou? And the man that I think his name was Charles Banks, or the last name was Banks.
Yeah, I know Mr. Banks. I know them.
How about the Booze family?
What?
The Booze family.
Yeah, I know Booze. I know when Booze got killed.
How did he get killed?
They shot him.
Who shot him?
Booze was the son-in-law of the founder of Mound Bayou.
I.T. Montgomery.
Right.
Okay.
He was married to Booze's daughter.
Montgomery's daughter.
I mean, to Montgomery's daughter.
Right.
Mary Booze was his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And Montgomery, they honored him all the time in schools and different places.
Oh, I'm going to ask you some more about that. But, I mean, I want to know about the Booze family.
What do you want me to tell you about the Booze family?
I don't know. Did they go to the schools you went to? Did they go to private schools? Did they have private schools?
No, they went to Booze. You could tell him from a white man to say he looked just like one. He thought he was one.
Oh.
But when they got up in school, see, we used to go to the when we go to lunch, time to go for lunch, everybody would go to the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have different people coming in, making talks and everything about the schools. Because our Barbara Conference School was a new school. I think it was put there in 1919, I believe it was. 1919. I think that's the year Burr was born. But anyway, Booze would get up in school, and he thought he was a white man. Because Miss Booze looked like she was white. But she had 2 sisters. They were.
So I.T. Montgomery married a very light-skinned black woman.
I didn't know I.T. Montgomery.
No, but his wife, the mother of Mary Booze.
I don't know. I don't know how they look. But Miss Booze, I know she was real light. And I know his children was light. So she married him. But she wasn't as light as he was. But she was light too.
Because most of the people in Mound Bayou were very dark-skinned people.
No,
Well,
there are a lot of light ones in there.
Well, you're saying that the writers of some of these books are not telling the truth, because many authors talk about, and even Booker T. Washington commented on the closeness, the Africanness of the people in Mound Bayou. You know, he commented.
Well, some of them was there before I was born.
Oh, yeah, it was before you were born. It
I
was
know
exactly.
who was going to Mound Bayou. I had some real light people going to Mound Bayou, a whole lot of them.
I wanted to show you a picture. I wanted to take a second and show you a picture.
We used to read about Booker T. Washington.
Here's the picture, the 3 founders of Mound Bayou, right there.
Huh?
Have you seen those pictures in a while?
It might have been on there. No, I don't know nothing about this. And Charles Banks, yeah, I remember him. This is I.T. Montgomery here.
Mm-hmm.
Part of Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Courtesy of Melbourne
Crow.
Crow, Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Now, I didn't know him. Now, I know his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he had no son. I don't think so.
And they're all dead now.
Huh?
All these people, his daughters, have all passed away.
His daughters, I knew them.
Mm-hmm.
They was in Montgomery's house that he built there.
Let me stop the music. I.T. Montgomery had a 27-room mansion. Did you ever see this house?